the LaxFactor Podcast.
What is up, college lacrosse fans? You're watching episode number 300, in fact, of the LaxFactor Podcast. I'm your host, Ted Hoost. I want to just say thank you. I can't believe I got to 300 podcasts here. I think I've been at this now for like 5-6 years or something like that. So I just want to lead by thanking everybody for watching, for continuing to put enough eyeballs on this for me to continue to want to do it. Even though I miss my weekday podcasts all the time, even though I promise to do them and I don't. So 300th episode, that's crazy. Today we're going to talk about a bunch of D1 games in detail, in great detail, I might even say, with highlights on all of that. So be sure to watch this whole thing. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not and you're listening or you're watching on Spotify, share the crap out of the show with everybody else. That's all I really ask. As always, you can go to LaxFactor.com, get yourself some swag, things of that sort. If you've been trying to buy a t-shirt lately and it wasn't working for a week or two, that should have been corrected and you should be good to go. But let's dive right off the bat here into the first game I want to talk about. Number 5, North Carolina. Actually at number 9, Army. Final score of this one here. It was a hell of a game, 13-12, packed crowd, 5,000 fans here at Michie Stadium in West Point. Turning points of this game, Braden Fountain, he scored Army's final goal to push the lead to 13-10 before UNC was able to score 2 unanswered to narrow it to that 13-12 margin. Army defender A.J. Pilot delivered a couple of key late game plays, actually, including causing a turnover with 2:53 left and tight defense over the course of the final possession. Now, note on that turnover with 2:53 left, that was sick enough. Pilot had stripped his man on the end line, got called for a push or a hold or something to that effect. So Duffy was taking him from a far corner. He just dusts Pilot off of a pick. Gets up to goal line extended, is about to inside roll that help defender. Pilot never gave up on the play, though, trailed the play and put Duffy on his behind. At one point during the game, in the telecast, the play-by-play guy mentioned that Duffy was slow to get up, and I was thinking, like, you're damn right he's slow to get up because that dude just got planted. I don't know that it was a true planting, but a brilliant check, excellent out of Pilot to not give up on the play, to trail the play, and as soon as Duffy just inside rolled, went to bust that inside roll, which we know he was going to bust a dive, fully extended across the front of the crease or whatnot. But Pilot, just knowing what to expect, call that a scout, knowing Duffy might try to come back and he would have to trail that play instead of, trying to find the next guy after getting dusted as badly as he did. It was just incredible defense here out of Army. And then they had a late defensive stand here to preserve that 1-goal lead despite heavy pressure from UNC. Duffy, I was upset with Duffy on that final possession. Petro was trying to get the rock to Duffy. When Wertheim got the ball over on the right corner, Duffy popped out but didn't demand the ball in a manner that I thought your best players should, especially after he had a pretty good game here. The fact he didn't get the ball, Wertheim went to the cage, ended up turning the ball over. Christian Fournier picked the pass, just a weak pass of Wertheim, kind of just time's expiring, let me just toss this way. It was a terrible final possession by UNC. I don't think they had a timeout. They didn't obviously take one, and it just looked rough. But Army, hey, they hold on. They pick up the big win, so that's good stuff. Top performers, Jackson Eicher had a sock trick, 6 goals off 6 of 12 shooting, so that was an excellent game for him. 7 points on the day. He was 6-1 actually on the day. All-American midfielder Evan Plunkett, season high 6 points, had a career best 5 assists on the day. Didn't shoot the rock particularly well, but fed the rock amazingly well and did just a great job drawing slides and anchoring the offense. Goalie Sean Byrne, he's been good all season long here. He had a below average day, 10 saves, only a 45% save percentage here, but he made 2 crucial fourth quarter stops in helping Army win this game. So Byrne has been incredible all year. If we look at what this freak has done here so far, 67% in their first win over UMass, 77, 84, 75. That's just ridiculous first 4 games. But then it just keeps going. 64, 75, 69, 64. The first time all season he's below 50% was against UNC on Saturday, 45% between the pipes, but they pick up the win. So, who cares? 64% against Boston U, and they lost anyway. So we'll take it here for Army. Face-off struggles for Army here. Will Coletti missed his fourth straight game. UNC's Brady Wambach, he was the first team All-American, midseason All-American, I believe. I gave him my nod for sure. He dominated the dot, winning 73%. He went 16 of 26, secured 12 ground balls on the day. So Wambach had a big day. Army was able to overcome that disparity, though, and win this game despite that. Army's defense, number one ranked defense in adjusted efficiency, forced 17 turnovers overall, including 7 turnovers over the course of that fourth quarter. Now, note on that stat, it wasn't like they were picking on one guy. I believe it was 4 or 5 different UNC players had committed turnovers in that fourth quarter. Duffy had 2. Spencer Wertheim had the weak feed with 2 seconds left on the clock that I had mentioned that Fournier had either knocked down or snagged. I think he snagged it and then huffed it upfield is what happened. Duffy, he had a good game. As I had said, he was, 3-3 on the day, 6 points. Petramala, 3 of 10, narrowly missed a game-tying attempt, hit one off the pipe late. Ty English, who's been very good for UNC all season so far, he added 2 goals. He had a crucial fourth quarter goal to help UNC climb back into this here. Army, they improved to 8-1 overall. They bounced back from their Week 7 overtime loss to Boston U, picked up a win against a very good North Carolina team here. UNC drops to 7-2 overall. Who does Army have next? Did I already say that? Army has Colgate next. They are at Colgate next, and Carolina is going to host Virginia. Another very good game here. We had number 6 Penn State at number 2 Maryland. A couple of turning points in this game here. After Penn State opened scoring, Maryland responded decisively with 2 separate 4-goal runs. They established an 8-2 lead early in the third quarter here. It was a Braden Erksa goal that accomplished that. Now, Penn State, they were going to briefly rally. They scored 2 straight. They got the lead back to 8-4, but Maryland immediately answered with another critical 3-goal run. They regained the momentum. They end up winning this game, as we see here. Maryland's third goal. The third goal of the game for Maryland, play of the game with defenseman Will Schaller. He dives to create a loose ball opportunity that A.J. Larkin picks up and ends up scoring in transition. Now, I just want to emphasize this goal, even though it was an early goal, to give them that 3rd lead, because beyond it being a juice goal, it kind of encompasses and tells the story of this Maryland team, I think, so far, from a defensive standpoint, from a getting the ball from the defensive end of the field to the offensive end of the field, from getting the ball from the middle of the field to the offensive end of the field, and just creating oddball situations, just weird transition situations. Maryland has been one of the best. Their rope unit here has been incredible. Let me throw out Eric Spanos' goal right after that Larkin goal, less than a minute later, actually, that gave Maryland a 4-1 lead. That showed, I think, Maryland was ready and fully prepared to bully Penn State into eating a loss on this one. Just shoulders his defender, bought himself 2 feet of space, let it rip past Frasian just 10 seconds into the shot clock. Just total disrespect for the Penn State goaltender, for the Penn State defense as a whole. So a hell of a job there by Spanos. As I said, final score 13-8. They had 5,000 fans at this one, so another good turnout here on a nice Saturday. Braden Erksa and Eric Spanos each had hat tricks for the Terps. Danny Kelly, Matthew Keegan each had 2 goals, 2 helpers. Maryland's rope unit, as I said, not just the rope unit, but the rope unit all the way down into the defense. They had a strong day, put up 5 points. George Stamos, 2 assists. Eric Kohler, 1 goal. Jack McDonald, an assist. A.J. Larkin, a goal. That defense, though, just in terms of just their ability to get the rock from the defensive end to the offensive end. Can't say enough about them, obviously, here. I'm getting sick. As you can tell, my voice is starting to go out here on me. Defensive stats. Maryland held Penn State to just 8 goals on 37 possessions on the day. That's just 21%. 10 points below Penn State's season scoring average entering the game as well. Logan McNaney, that doesn't sound right. Penn State's averaging 18 goals a game. That can't be true, but maybe I just got that math wrong or whatnot. Logan McNaney, 10 saves, while the defense forced 12 turnovers, led by A.J. Larkin and Will Schaller, each contributing 3 forced turnovers to that effort. Maryland limited Penn State to just 18 shots on goal, including only 6 in the first half. So just between the defense playing well, the offense getting their feet here, You can't say enough about Maryland. I'm gonna keep saying more about Maryland, but you can't say enough. Penn State's Colby Baldwin won the day on the faceoff dot. He won 15 of 22, secured 5 ground balls. Didn't matter in the end. Matt Traynor led PSU, 2 goals and a helper. Kyle Lehman and Hunter Aquino, 2 goals each. Aquino's been incredible all season so far for them. What a snag. Ethan Long contributed 2 assists. Frasian, terrible day for Jack Frasian in net, 6 saves. He's been at or below 35% in 3 of Penn State's last 4 games. So that's just a rough look for Frasian. Penn State's 2-2 over that stretch despite his struggles, including a 25% outing in the win over Cornell. So Penn State's playing through his struggles, but just barely. So he needs to be better. And I want to say, obviously, it's a little bit of an indictment on their defense as well, but an All-American caliber goaltender you'd think could come up with some more saves, and he's had a hard time here thus far. And Maryland, they improved to 8-1. They bounced back from that triple overtime loss to Michigan a week ago. Penn State drops to 6-3 overall. They remain winless in the Big Ten, 0-2, despite their hot start overall. And at one point, I think they snagged like the number 1 or number 2 ranking. Penn State travels to Michigan. Maryland will head to Rutgers in their next one. I'm just making sure I have audio over here, and I do. Syracuse and Virginia. Number 8, Syracuse, unranked Virginia. Very not like Virginia to be unranked at this point in the season. After Virginia took a 5-1 lead, Syracuse freshman Peyton Anderson scored a diving goal with 0 seconds left in the first quarter, swinging momentum back to the orange, and that is true. They did do that. Syracuse, but going down 5-1, that was rough here. I'm watching this game. I had to go to my mother's birthday party at one point, so I'm kind of unsafely watching it while I'm driving down the road in my car, if I'm being fully honest. So 5-1, I'm thinking this is not going to be good for Syracuse, especially with the struggles they've had making adjustments at the half. Not so. Trailing 10-9 in the fourth quarter after a very nice low to high feed from Millen that hit Colsey out top. That results in an easy Colsey step down. Syracuse midfielder Sam English tied the game at 10s with 17 left off an assist from Joey Spallina. Barely an assist from Spallina. More of a nice facilitation, I think, in terms of Spallina popping the ball from X up to English on the wing, who had a short stick, one of the only 2 short sticks on the field. That's been the biggest improvement, I think, with the Syracuse offense, is not trying to force feed Spallina and Hiltz, allow the game to come to them, allow them to bump the ball around the field and to just try to find the matchups and not force their own. I think that's been the best adjustment that Syracuse has made since that Harvard loss, and it's paid dividends here as they now pick up this win against Virginia. With just over 2 minutes left, English assisted Owen Hiltz, whose goal gave Syracuse an 11-10 lead. That was the eventual game winner. English dodged and redodged his guy off the right wing, eventually spots Hiltz all alone, not even all alone, but fading his man off that opposite side. Hilt's release on that shot was absolutely incredible. Just catch, shoot before Nunes could even react. You could see Nunes' frustration in terms of he had been seeing the ball well all day. Saw that one, just didn't have time to get across the crease, across the pipe, from pipe to pipe as Hiltz buries it. Virginia's final meaningful possession of the game ended with a turnover by Millen. That sealed the Cavaliers' fate. In a dramatic ending, though, here, actually, we had English miss an open netter. Now, he didn't really miss the open netter with 40 seconds left. It actually did look like the defender got a stick on it that caused it to go off the pipe. You could just tell English, probably his heart sank a little bit, thinking, oh, crap, I'm going to have to go back, play defense. I think he actually said that in the post-game press conference. Hiltz ends up picking it up, burying it. He runs over to English and picks him up off the deck like, hey, buddy, don't worry, I got you. And Syracuse ends up winning this game 12-10, 3,500 fans in Charlottesville, so that was great to see. One key thing here, and I've been waiting to see this forever. I don't know the official stats on this over the course of the last 8 years, but I have been whining and crying. Probably to many of you have heard me say this. I've been whining, talking about why in scenarios where Syracuse's first line midfield is obviously much, much better than their second line midfielder. And that's midfield. And it's not to knock the second line midfield. Syracuse has midfield depth to be certain. And they actually came up with a couple of goals here. If we look at this, let's see, who was it? Just Wyatt Hoddle had a goal. But anyway, Syracuse, even in the days of Trimboli, Curry, and Dordovic, tended to split time with that first midfield line and that second midfield line. It used to drive me nuts because in close games, I felt like, why is the second midfield line still getting burned deep into the third quarter and through the fourth quarter when every possession counts in those close games? And the first line would barely get burned. They'd get like a 30-second possession and then boom, trot out the second line in the next one. That did not happen in this game. Gate made the decision. Two decisions we'll talk about here quick that Gate made that I liked. Number one, the first line midfield, they got the rock and they were on the field for 14 of 16 of Syracuse's settled possessions over the second half. I thought that was key in their comeback and in helping them climb back to win this game. And then also I thought another important thing that they did, and I don't know how this would have panned out if Gate didn't make this move, but they start Peyton Anderson on attack instead of Trey Deer. Trey Deer had been playing attack here, subbing for Thompson for a while, and has played well over the last 3 games. And then come into this game, Peyton Anderson gets to start. I saw a bunch of idiots on the Syracuse Facebook group chirping it, saying what I shouldn't say a bunch of idiots. There was at least one idiot that was chirping it in that group, saying like, why would Trey Deer be on the bench? These guys are idiots. What are they thinking? He's played well, which is true. But Gate said later in the press conference, I believe, post-game press conference, that the decision was made because Virginia put a shorty on the third attackman last season. A lot of teams have tended to do that to Syracuse over the last few years, and he decided to put Anderson in, who's a big guy, a dodging threat, scored that dive goal to end the first half to give Syracuse a little bit of momentum. So I don't know what that would have looked like. I don't know if Virginia would have put a shorty on Trey Deer had he played in the game, but for sure they primarily kept 3 polls, it looked like, as I tried to pay attention to this game through a birthday party and things of that sort, and driving down the road going 55 miles an hour. It looked like that did pan out, and I don't know if that changed anything. But once again, just making a decision based on matchups, I like to see it, and Syracuse is playing some pretty good lacrosse. Sam English, outstanding game all around. 2 goals, 2 helpers, 2 ground balls, played offense, defense, face-off wing, extra man, and man down. The dude is an absolute beast. Owen Hiltz, 3 goals, including the game winner and that game-clinching empty netter in the final minutes of play. Leo, 3 goals offensively. Leo was quiet over that Maryland stretch. From Maryland, no points. Harvard, 2 points. Utah, 2 points. So in the 2 losses, he was no points and then 2 points. And then against Utah, put up 2 in that big win. But he's put up 4 points. No. He put up 4 points over those 3 games. He's put up 9 points over the last 4 games since. He was 3-3, had no points in the win over Colgate, but then 3 points in this last one here. So just moral of that terribly worded little segment there. Leo has been playing much better over the last 4 games, and that is going to be very important for Syracuse as they get into the meat of the ACC schedule from here. Goalie Jimmy McCool has been excellent in cage here. 17 saves on the day today. The kid is earning his keep. He's only been below 50% one time this season in that loss to Harvard. He was 33% in that game. Since that loss, he's been above 60% in 4 of 5, and he was 63% on the day against Virginia here in this win. For Virginia, their highlights, McCabe Millen, 3-3. Had 4 turnovers, though. But I think you're going to take a 6-point effort out of Millen with 4 turnovers, just to see him putting up points for this team. That's going to be important. Nunes was good again, 16 saves for Noon, and a very strong effort out of him. He's been good lately. Face-off specialist Andrew Greenspan actually dominated Mullen at the dot. 13 of 18 he won. Anthony Gobriel, who's been hurt for Virginia for some of the season, ended up leaving the game injured again, but Greenspan held his own, and that helped Virginia keep pace. Junior defenseman John Schroeder, once again, held Joey Spallina without a goal and only 1 assist for the 2nd consecutive year. Like I said, I'd posit that assist out of Spallina. Loosely an assist here, but who cares in the end? But like I said, Spallina and Hiltz have been huge. Now Hiltz did go 3-1 on the day here in this game. Spallina only 0-1, but they have been huge in running this offense, making sure they're attacking the ball where we have matchups. So even though Spallina was quiet, I don't give a shit. Dude still had a good game. Ball didn't die in his stick. He didn't force anything, just keeps facilitating the offense, bumping the ball, acting as a brilliant swingman at X. I know that I'm waxing nostalgic here about a dude who's only a junior right now and who only had one assist on the day, but I can't say enough just about how he's letting the game come to him, even at at the cost of points, just to make sure that the guys that have the best matchups are getting to the rack here. Key stat, Syracuse, 0 turnovers over the course of the fourth quarter. They've been taking care of the ball all year long, but to do that down the stretch in the fourth quarter, that's a big deal. Virginia failed to capitalize on their face-off advantage. They win 13 of 18. They don't capitalize by winning. Like I said, though, that's not a great stat here. That's probably a ChatGPT generated piece here. Syracuse improves to 1-0 in ACC play, so that's huge. Virginia now 5-5 overall. Syracuse 8-2 overall. Virginia 5-5, 0-1 in the ACC. Next game we have to talk about is number 11 Duke against number 7 Notre Dame. After Duke tied the game at 2s, Notre Dame exploded with a 6-goal run in the second quarter. They took control in building an 8-2 halftime lead. Jake Taylor ignited Notre Dame with a quick strike off a Devin McClain assist, followed by a series of stylish finishes, including a highlight reel B2B behind the back here. He also had a nice B2B feed that I'm going to roll the highlight for because it's from the Notre Dame's Twitter feed and I won't get tagged. So Jake Taylor, dude, is just really good at the sport of lacrosse. Duke briefly showed some life here in the second half. They scored 2 quick goals. It was McAdory and Johnston. They got the gap closed to 9-4, but Notre Dame responded with goals after that, maintained control of the game, and they win easily. Taylor sealed the victory with his 4th and 5th goals in the fourth quarter, which ended any hope of Duke trying to get back into this one here. Final score 14-7. There were 2,300 fans at Arlada to watch this one. Notre Dame has outscored Duke by a combined 17 goals over their last 2 meetings, including last season's 16-6 win in the ACC tournament final. Top performers for Notre Dame: Jake Taylor, 5-2. Dude busted 2 assists. You don't normally see him do that. Missed only 1 shot. Had that B2B assist to Jeffrey Ricciardelli, who had 2 goals. Kavanaugh facilitated the offense. 4 assists, 5 total points here overall, and they are really feeding him a lot. I noticed that, especially early in the game. They're kind of just running the offense through Kavanaugh, making sure he's getting a dodge on just about every possession, which I like. Shot the ball like shit. 14% shooting percentage on the day, 1 of 7, but still facilitating the offense and dishing the rock. Goalie Thomas Ricciardelli, 10 saves, 59% save percentage. I said for Notre Dame to have any shot at being able to three-peat, he was going to have to be playing at a championship level. He's actually been very good. I would say he's played a little bit better than the Notre Dame defense has played. I feel like they've let him down here and there in their 2 losses. So his play has been important, and he's been playing well. And he's a veteran goalie. This isn't like you're putting a rookie in. The dude's been waiting for his time to play for some time now. So he's a veteran goalkeeper, similar to McCool at Syracuse. It just took a little bit to get their feet underneath them, but now they're both playing top-notch lacrosse. Will Lynch, 12 of 19 on the day for Notre Dame at the faceoff dot. Eric Maliver had 2 assists early here. What'd he finish the game with? That was it. He just had 2 assists overall. McAdory, Ben Johnston each added a goal early in the second half as Duke tried to get back into the game. Freshman Jordan Faison and top recruit Matt. What is that? See, now this is supposed to be Duke highlights here, and my notes got screwed up. I did have ChatGPT help me a little bit here today in putting this all together, and it just tried to tell me that Jordan Faison, number 1, was a freshman and that he played for Duke, which we know is not true. So I'm wondering how often I've screwed that up here so far. What'd Faison actually do in this game? Faison just had a goal in the game. Not anything great. Anyway, Notre Dame, they improved to 5-2 overall, 1-0 in the ACC. They're going to take on Syracuse next as Duke drops to 5-4, and they're going to have to take on Boston University. But yeah, 5-2 out of Jake Taylor. You got to love that there. McAdory, I keep complaining about this one in terms of just him not getting enough time for Duke. There's got to be a reason for it, though. I'm done thinking that I'm smart and that I know anything here because I don't. Hopefully I don't screw up my reads here. Again, as I did here with ChatGPT trying to fill in Jordan Faison as a freshman at Duke. Number 14, Johns Hopkins. Number 19, Michigan. Now, Michigan's defense dominated the first half. It says here they limited Johns Hopkins to just 2 goals, which that is actually true, which is actually a bonkers stat here. What's his nuts? Oh, why am I drawing a blank? Melendez has not been playing, and that has definitely hurt Hopkins' offensive flow. I didn't think it was going to hurt their offensive flow to the tune of only 2 goals in the first half against Michigan, but it did. Hopkins was able to come back here, as you see. They outscored Michigan 5-2 over the course of that third quarter, but didn't matter here. Michigan goalie Hunter Taylor halted the Jays' momentum in the fourth quarter. He makes 4 fourth quarter saves over the final 12 minutes of the game, including a key stop on Hopkins' Hunter Chauvette, which helped them seal the victory. Final score, 11-8 in favor of Michigan. Secures their second consecutive Big Ten win over a team that's ranked higher than they are, including last week's triple overtime upset over number 1 Maryland. Aiden Mulholland, 3-1. Alex Lobel, 3-0 here for Michigan. And like we see from Hopkins, just not getting it done. Chauvette, just 2 goals. Collison, 2 goals. Bauer, it's just not going to get it done here when you're playing a very good defensive team here in Michigan. Hunter Taylor, 12 saves, including those fourth quarter stops that I had mentioned. Face-off dot. Yeah, Hunter. Wait, that's not the face-off dot. I was like, face-off dot. Hunter Taylor did a great job. Yeah, Logan Callahan did an excellent job here. 16-22 for Hopkins. Could not turn that face-off and possession disparity into a win, though. Logan Callahan. Did I say Logan Callahan dominated the dot, or did I say Hunter Taylor again? I can't remember. But listen, guys, I'm starting to fall apart. Like I said, I'm sick. You got to forgive me. Galinis here for Hopkins in cage, filling in for Stout. Yeah, he had a mediocre day. It's trying to tell me, I definitely had ChatGPT write some of my notes up for me for some of the lower games that I didn't watch. And it is trying to tell me here also that Matt Collison is a freshman for Hopkins, which we obviously know isn't true here. So that's it. Not a great game. We're probably going to have to ditch ChatGPT for the remainder of my notes here, just to make sure that I don't say anything else dumb. We had Rutgers and Ohio State. Ohio State jumped out to a quick 3-zip lead, setting the tone early. Rutgers battled back, remained within striking distance throughout most of this game, but Ohio State continued to prevent them from going on any really sustained runs. Caleb Fyock preserved the Buckeyes' victory by making 8 of his career-high 19 saves in a tense fourth quarter, repeatedly denying Rutgers' late comeback attempts. Fyock, man, I gave him an All-American nod. I can't remember where I put him in my All-American nod, but the dude has been playing incredible lacrosse and is a big reason that Ohio State's in the shape that they're in right now, sitting at 10-1. If we go through his stats, and I'm just going to not go too deep into it, I'm just going to read his numbers so far this season. This is a dude who has not traditionally been consistent, and you could maybe call that Ohio State's defense's fault, and their defense is playing excellent here so far this year. But look at his numbers. I'm just going to read off the percentages over their 11 games. 54%, 71, 83, 67, 60, 71, 58, 59, 53, 65, 63. All-American numbers out of the kid so far, and just couldn't be happier for him here as he's been on the grind. If we look at his 2024 numbers, overall 52% save percentage, but you see a little bit more streaky. Dipped below 50% for a stretch here against Cornell, Notre Dame, and Detroit Mercy in 2024. But otherwise played well. Finished the season 2 games against Michigan below 50%. So has had his struggles, but just the season he's having so far this year is incredible. Face-off dot, what do we see? Rutgers did a good job. Payalato. Matthew Payalato for Rutgers wins 16-28, but they end up losing that game overall. Let's see here. Ohio State 10-1 now overall, 2-0 in the Big Ten. They've just maintained their momentum. We'll see what happens with the rankings here. I got to sit down and do my poll vote after I upload this and everything like that. And then Rutgers, they're going to have to bounce back here as they got a Big Ten matchup. Who's their Big Ten matchup? Yeah, they've got Maryland next, and Ohio State has Hopkins. They're at Hopkins next. Denver and Villanova. After a 99-minute storm delay, Villanova's Matt Licata scored 2 critical goals in 4 minutes, pushing the Wildcats ahead 8-7 late into regulation. In overtime, it was Colin Mitchner netted the game-winning goal, sealing Villanova's second consecutive victory over Denver. Villanova defeated Denver 10-9 in overtime. Excellent game here overall. Noah Manning, 3-1. As they said, Colin Mitchner scores the game winner. He's 2-3 on the day. Decent goaltending out of Malcolm Kleben here, keeping pace for Denver, and Denver just got waxed at the faceoff dot. The faceoff guy, Michael Krause, not the attackman for Virginia, 4 of 14. Braden Lair comes in 2 of 9. So it's Tyler Sandoval, who is the Princeton transfer. 13 of 16 on the day. Ryan Cunningham spells him 4 of 7. So Villanova waxes Denver at the faceoff dot. They win in overtime. Denver ranked 20th coming into this one. They will for sure drop out of the top 20, which has been rough the last few weeks, getting the top 20 correct. Cornell came out. They beat the hell out of Penn. Right from the get-go. Michael Long, 4-2. CJ Kurse, 2-3 off 9 shots. Goldstein, 2-2. So the usual suspects all factor here. What did my boy Willem Firth do? 1-1. Nust continues to be very good in cage here. 12 saves, 5 goals against. What's he looked like so far this season? He had a rough one against Yale, 48%. Rough one in that loss to Penn State, 38%. But he has been otherwise good. Wyatt Nust, not a freshman goalie, but a senior in his second year as a starter for Cornell. Faceoff dot, Cascadin, 12 of 19. They're glad as shit to have him back, taking the bulk of the faceoffs. 12 of 19 on the day. So yeah, they beat. I was surprised at the spread on this one. I figured Cornell 5-7 goals or whatnot for them to beat the crap out of them. 15-5 to be up 10-1 at the half. I was surprised at that. Emmett Carroll just struggling. He was my preseason pick for goalie of the year, and he has been below 50%. Not a lot, actually, considering how bad this defense has played. He's only been below 50% 3 outings so far. The last 2, 47% against Dartmouth, 35% here in this one against Cornell. So I'm not gonna trash Emmett Carroll then. He's just got a defense that is not playing well in front of him. Dartmouth Princeton. I thought this would be a decent game. I didn't tell you on Thursday that I thought it was going to be a decent game because I didn't get to do the preview episode here, which I'm kind of glad. I'm glad I'm doing my 300th episode on the weekend. I can just kind of sit here and ramble for a long time. I've already been at it for 31 minutes here with more games to talk about. Good game. Very good game, in fact. 6-5 at the half. Dartmouth jumped out to a 3-1 first quarter lead. Princeton uses that third quarter to take control, and then they exchange goals over the course of the fourth quarter, but Princeton ends up winning. Nate Kabiri, 2-2. Colin Burns, 3-1. And Coulter Mackesy, 3-1 for Princeton. So you get the usual suspects. All go 4 points for Princeton. Thomas Power paced everybody for Dartmouth. He was 2-1. Goaltending, Ryan Craddock has been excellent for Princeton, 62% between the pipes, 13 saves, 8 goals against. But hey, credit Mason Morrill, 21 saves to help Dartmouth keep pace in this one, 66% between the pipes for him in that losing effort. So that is a hell of a job. And McMeekin and Kobe Ginder still struggling at the faceoff dot, but they eke out enough wins to keep that possession disparity reasonable. So credit to them here. Without the goaltending here effort out of Morrill, it would have been an absolute bloodbath, 7-8 goal game. That's not a bloodbath, but it wouldn't have been the 3-goal reasonable finish that they got out of this one here. Princeton's now 6-2. Who do they have next? Lehigh next, and Dartmouth is now 7-2, and they're rocking Harvard next. Stony Brook ends up ruining Fairfield. Fairfield was the only undefeated team left going into the weekend in Division I lacrosse. Stony Brook jumps out to I was going to say a 9-9 lead, but it was 9 up at the half, tied at the end of the third. And Stony Brook ends up scoring the game winner. Who was it? Who scored the game winner for them? I'm trying to see if it says in this write-up here. Probably just start using their write-ups. It's too messy. We're not even going to look for it here. For Stony Brook, though, Kean McCoy, 3-3 on the day. Jake Gilbert paces Fairfield with 4 goals. The goalie battle was won by Stony Brook's Jamison McLaughlin, 20 saves, 15 goals against, 57% between the pipes here. Owen Hirsch for Fairfield had a miserable day, 29% between the pipes. And then at the faceoff dot, pretty even overall here between the two of them. So nothing big there. But yeah, Stony Brook ends Fairfield's, a 9-game winning streak, handing them their first loss. So that's good for them. Colgate, I was curious how this one was going to pan out here. 6-5 at the half, but that third quarter, Colgate outscores Navy 7-3 over the course of the third. Colgate has been a second half team to be certain so far this year, and the Connors are just filthy. Rory Connor 5-3, Liam Connor 2-4, Jack Turner 4-0. So Colgate has become kind of an offensive juggernaut here, and they're going to give the Patriot League fits. But they beat Navy 14-9. What'd we get out of Lacombe in cage? Mediocre. Dan Daly had a good day, 62% between the pipes, 18 saves for Navy in that losing effort. Navy, they dropped to 6-4. Colgate improves to 6-4 after losing 2. Colgate lost to Bucknell and Syracuse back-to-back after stringing together 5 wins. So Colgate gets back in the win column. They have Army at home next up. Navy, after winning 2 straight against Lemoyne and Holy Cross, this loss to Colgate, not great for them. Navy hasn't looked really good all season as their wins have come against some mediocre teams here. But they have Lafayette up next. Yale, just wanted to see this one quick because Yale improves to 2-5 now. Just very uncharacteristic start for Yale, but they pick up the Ivy League win. That now makes Yale, despite their 2-5 record, 1-2 in the Ivy, and now Brown is sitting in the basement. So that's interesting because the Ivy's kind of neck and neck, and I have a feeling they're going to beat the shit out of each other this year. David Anderson 5-2, Leo Johnson 3-1, Chris Lyons just 1-1. So they got to get that working overall, but they pick up the win over Brown. What do we get? We get any crazy play out of anybody? Nope, nothing out of the goalies. Machado Rodriguez 9-21 actually got waxed at the dot himself. Nothing crazy here. St. Joe's drops to UMass. So UMass is probably going to hop in to the top 20 after this win over number 16 St. Joe's. St. Joe's may not drop out as we had some teams lose here towards the bottom. But yeah, UMass, huge win over St. Joe's. Who is it here that scored for UMass? Trace Hogan 2-3. Excellent job for him. Any crazy goalie play? Owen Salinger for UMass, 57% between the pipes in cage, 13 saves on the day. And TJ Casey for UMass wins 14 of 17 of the draws with 3 ground balls, meaning he got a lot of help from his friends, but huge game here for UMass beating St. Joe's, and that'll get UMass at least, I'd think, into the 20th spot in terms of the rankings. Georgetown got a little bit scared by Providence here. Number 15 Georgetown wins 14-13. Fulton Bayman, a great facilitating day. 1 of 5. Pax Marshall, dope name. 4 goals for Georgetown. Anderson Moore, 10 saves, 13 goals against. Nothing crazy there. What did our boys do at the faceoff dot? Wilson Van Buren, 10 of 18. Matthew Riley, 6 of 12. So pretty even overall at the faceoff dot also. I didn't get to watch this one. Of course, this one was on Flow, so I didn't watch it. Didn't see highlights or anything because they tend to lock that crap up. But Georgetown wins, so they're going to improve. They'll probably either keep in that 15th spot, probably bump up 1 or 2 overall. And that's it. That's what we're going to talk about here today, guys. There's no games on Sunday so far as I know. We got Cornell hosting UAlbany and then Princeton hosting Lehigh on Tuesday. Those are the only real kind of weekday games that we'll have. I am going to be honest. There is almost zero chance I will get any episodes out during the week. I will be very busy during the work week. So just be sure to come back Sunday to watch the recap episode here. We'll try to dive into D3 a little bit more here. We didn't get to do that this week, as I promised. Once again, life is just a shit show generally, so it's hard to keep up with work and then trying to do this as well. But again, hey, 300 episodes. Feels kind of anticlimactic here, but 300 episodes, so that is pretty awesome. Great day for me. Credit to me fully on that one. Credit to you all for watching. Once again, thank you for even putting up with my bullshit. And come back Sunday. That's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Go to LaxFactor.com. Buy some swag. Support me that way. And Hoost is out.
The LaxFactor Podcast.